He has a chance.
I'm just a civil servant.
I know Lance either retired. He got to be looking for some work a little bit. No,
but you're a funny guy. What do you do? You just sort of stand around and photobomb people?
No, I'm calling with TMZ.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay, man. We love your work, though, man.
You crack me up. Did you go to NYU?
No, my sister did. Great school.
Was you go to law school there?
No, she did. She did journalism also.
Yeah,
but
it's a wonderful school.
Yeah.
So you go around bothering people?
No. Actually, we find interesting people. What did you have to eat? I know you was like steak dinner. No. Come on, man. Come on.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about Clarence Thomas, who just his name makes the mainstream liberal media go mad. You know, people like Tiffany Cross and Joy Reid, liberal black women on mainstream liberal media, they can't stand Clarence Thomas, but can't seem to articulate why outside of ad hominem racist attacks against the man simply because he has a difference of political opinion.
By him, so we'll see.
Well, and the Supreme Court, and he mentioned the Supreme Court and was very specific about that, and he did telegraph
as if he can just take the election, call it over,
right,
announce that there won't be any more voting, and that the Supreme Court will take over. That's not how it works.
It's not exactly clear that we can trust Amy Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh and these others not to be just like Bill Barr. And so I think what scares people is that if he decides to do something that it legally makes no sense, and you're right, but Mr. Bauer is ready for him. But if somehow they manage to stumble into the Supreme Court, do any of you guys trust Uncle Clarence and Amy Coney Barrett and those guys to actually follow the letter of the law? No. I mean, it is a completely politicized Supreme Court that you can't just trust that they're going to do the right thing. Now, so far, the courts have actually been pretty good. So we'll see.
Brian.
On this very day in 1991, Justice Pubicera My Coke Can was confirmed to the Supreme Court. And even though we collectively knew how bad it was then, we didn't know just how problematic Tom would be until now. Now, the man who succeeded Thurgood Marshall, becoming the second black justice, and yet not representing the interests of black men at all, will certainly end up with an equally consequential legacy. For example, after benefiting from affirmative action, he was one of 12 black students entering Yale Law School in 1971. Justice Clayton Bigsby later firmly opposed it. And of course, there's Commander Waterford's staunch stance against abortion rights. There are many, many problems with Thomas, but the biggest, his insurrectionist, sympathizing, George Peele, get out inspired wife.
Yeah, amazing, right? These are the criticisms of Clarence Thomas from liberal black women in the media. They don't have any real issues with Clarence Thomas outside the fact that he's conservative. And when you ask them, hey, well, what are the actual problems or issues with Clarence Thomas that makes him so, quote unquote, anti-black? The only thing they have is, well, he opposes affirmative action, which is racist, okay? Affirmative action is textbook racism, okay? And that he's against so-called abortion rights, which is not an actual right. But I'm not sure what is so pro-black about being pro-killing black babies, right? What's pro-black about that? If anything, I think the most pro-black stance you can have is to be pro-life, because that would promote black life. I thought these people cared about black lives, but apparently not. Now, hey, they didn't go as far as to do what this Democrat did here in Georgia, a state senator out of Georgia, who actually called Clarence Thomas a racial slur, called Clarence Thomas an Uncle Tom in response to an approval of Clarence Thomas's statue being built in Georgia. Take a look.
Place a statue of Clarence Thomas on this grounds. We cannot avoid that conversation, so I'm not going to avoid it either. In the black community, we have an expression, and I don't want to use this label too deeply here because I'm just trying to tell you what we have in the African-American community. When we talk about a person of color that goes back historically to the days of slavery and that person betraying his own community, we have a term in the black community. That term that we use is called Uncle Tom. And Uncle Tom is either a fictional or non-fictional character. I don't really know the origin of Uncle Tom, but it talks about a person who back during the days of slavery sold his soul to the slave master.
Yeah, so this ignorant Democrat, Emmanuel Jones, basically called Clarence Thomas and Uncle Tom. Now, he tried to beat around the bush with it, but that's what he did. He called Clarence Thomas and Uncle Tom. That's what they want to say. That's what they want to call him. And he's ignorant because he doesn't know the origins of Uncle Tom, which comes from the novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, in which Tom, in that novel, was actually a hero, okay? He was a Christian protagonist. He was very caring. He actually helped save runaway slaves, right? Not only that, he cared for people. Yeah, the original Uncle Tom character is not who these people portray him out to be, but for some reason, Uncle Tom has become a racial slur towards black people who don't agree with Democrats. Again, this person is ignorant. He knows he's ignorant, and yet he's using the phrase to try to describe Clarence Thomas. Again, this guy really is a clown, right? This is the type of clown show that we have in the Democrat Party, okay? They have no problems using racial slurs against black people who disagree with them. But again, if it was the other way around, though, they would be kicking and screaming and crying. However, Clarence Thomas has frequently been the target of racial slurs from these people. So without further ado, let's read about what's going on here in Georgia, because they're trying to build a statue of Clarence Thomas, and the wokes are upset. So let's read here. The Georgia Senate on Tuesday approved a proposal to place a statue of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas at the Georgia State Capitol in Atlanta, prompting outcry from Democrats and apparent criticism from some media outlets. The Republican-led state Senate voted 32-20 along party lines to mandate a statue of Thomas, a native of Pinpoint, Georgia, which is located near the city of Savannah. Senate Bill 69 will now head to the State House for further debate. Republican Senator Ben Watson, who represents Thomas's birthplace, sponsored the bill. Quote, Clarence Thomas has lived a life marked by tremendous achievement, Watson told fellow senators. This native son of Georgia deserves a place of honor and recognition on our Capitol grounds, a place where future generations of Georgians can learn valuable lessons from his legacy and gain inspiration and belief that their lofty dreams are obtainable too in America, regardless of the circumstances in which they were born. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Again, that's the shame here, right? I'm gonna get a little bit more into this, but Clarence Thomas grew up in poverty and segregation, right? He faced real discrimination, probably faced real racism. But despite all that, he overcame that to become a sitting Supreme Court justice. He should be an example, a shining example for people in the black community that despite, obstacles in your life, you can become great if you work hard and you believe in the American dream. But no. What the left and the Democrats do is that they smear him as an Uncle Tom. He's somebody that you should not aspire to be just because he has the wrong political beliefs. The statue will be funded by private donations, according to Watson. In contrast to GOP supporters, Democrats loudly criticized the bill, arguing Thomas is too controversial to receive such an honor. One state lawmaker even suggested Thomas, the second black American ever to serve on the nation's higher court, is currently his longest serving justice, is a traitor to his race. Yeah. Again, nothing new here, right? Nothing new here. We've all heard this. And what I want to say is this. These people have no problems building statues of black criminals, right? Like George Floyd. But when you're talking about building a statue of a man, Clarence Thomas, who has achieved the American dream as a black man growing up in the Jim Crow South, right? Actual segregation. No, we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to honor him because he has the wrong political beliefs. So this was wrong with the black community. This is what's wrong with some of these Negroes, okay? I'm telling you. They won't put beside politics to do what they claim they want. You say you want representation, right? Oh, we need black representation. We need black people here and black people there. Okay, fine. When you get black representation, y'all want to boohoo, whine, and cry because the guy has the wrong political beliefs. When the goal should be to have representation regardless of political beliefs. Stop honoring criminals like George Floyd and start actually honoring black folks who actually have contributed positively to society and have actually achieved something besides getting killed by a police officer, right? if people like Ben Carson, Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams, Herman Cain, they're smeared by black folks. Black folks even never heard of them, or they're being smeared by black people. But it's like, these are black people who are a shining example for what black people can do when you put your mind to it. When you embrace the right values, aka conservative values, right? When you embrace traditional American values, they are a prime example of what you can achieve and what you can do in this country. But we don't want to honor those people. Again, only black folks, we want to honor black liberals, right? Like Ketanji Brown Jackson. What's so great about her? Why is she looked upon more favorably as authentically black than Clarence Thomas? What's the difference? The difference is, well, she got a vagina, one, she's a black woman, and two, she's a Democrat. She's a liberal. That's the only difference. Again, look at the media coverage and how they fawn over her versus how they smear Clarence Thomas. But yeah, these are the same people that claim we want more black representation. We love and we care about black folks so much. But when it comes to black conservatives, this is the treatment that they get. It's nothing but met with racial slurs. Tim Scott gives the rebuttal to the President's State of the Union address. He did that one year, a couple years ago, or something like that. And he was called an Oreo, right? He's an Oreo. White on the inside, black on the outside. He's not really black. He's not really black. Dude grew up in South Carolina. He's from the South. He's as black as you can be. Not black because he's not liberal. Absolutely amazing, man. And once again, this is the reason why we're not going anywhere, right? I was just reading a comment on one of my videos earlier this morning. The one I did about the black soccer player, the black soccer girls who couldn't play because they had beads in their heads. And the referee said, look, you got to take the beads out of your head or you got to, put something over it because of safety. Some dude in the comment section was like, you a straight up Sambo. You a Sambo. You a Tom. Such and such and such. And I'm like, I'm a Sambo. I'm a Tom because I want the girls to be able to play soccer safely without hurting other people or themselves. That makes me a Tom. Really. That makes me a Sambo. Again, these people don't know how to think. They have no ability to critically think about any of this stuff outside of, well, if you're conservative, or you don't necessarily agree with black folks on every issue, then, you must be a sellout, right? While at the same time, they don't have anything to say about the real Uncle Toms and sellouts in the black community, which are the thugs and the criminals that are killing black people. And the Democrats that are promoting abortion, right? Which again is killing black people and stifling the growth of the black population. But hey, they don't really want to have a conversation about that. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.